Yo, people, and welcome to another episode of Through a Different Lens podcast. I am your co-host, Joe,
I'm Dej.
And I'm Jacob.
and we've got a very special guest who has joined us. Brother, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Rafa. Also known as Rafa Ismail on Twitter. And yeah, thank you for having me, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Dej, Jacob, obviously, I think I only told you guys today. Rafa is a Milan fan. We're going to touch up on that. Hence why I have worn my Milan kit. Dej, I was hoping you would have backed me today.
No, I forgot. I wore it to the gym, so it's dirty.
Fair.
Just smell like BO, man.
Rafa, me and Dej got, because we went on holiday last summer and all the
Yeah.
boys, we had Milan kits and that was it. So I was
Class.
hoping he was going to back me, but evidently you
I
got
didn't
to
even
use
back
more
myself. I didn't even back my own team.
Nah, I hear it. First of all, we always just start off the pod with checking in. How are you? How's your week been? How's your 2026 going so far? Yeah, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, it's been busy. Started a new job back end of last year, so that's going well. Just been in training all week, so tired. But yeah, things going all right. Life's good. I can't really complain. Just weather, it's just dead in this country, man. Honestly, we got a little bit of sunshine yesterday, and I got a bit too greedy with it because I was missing it. But was it yesterday or the day before? We were missing it. It was like it's crazy. But yeah, other than that, life's sweet.
Good living. And yeah, you're right, man. Bear man were in shorts, bear gal were in shorts 2 days ago. I was one of them. So yeah, you gotta take the sun where it is in this
Trust
country.
me.
But yeah, we're just gonna go straight into it. Formula One season 2026 is upon us. And yeah, we just wanna obviously we've got a new team that's joined this season, the Cadillac team. Is that correct? Cadillac? Off
Yep.
the top of my mind. And then yeah, we're just gonna go into one. I already know Rafa's favorite driver / all-time driver, but he'll elaborate for you boys. And in terms of like, how do you see this upcoming season with the regs this season, the rules, how the teams have looked in preseason, for you? Because I know like you keep a very keen eye on that. And then we'll eventually ask who you've got winning the championship, team and driver. But yeah, in terms of the upcoming season, how do you feel with this particular one, and how do you feel the previous 2 seasons actually have led to this season coming up?
I feel I don't know actually how to feel about the season. I feel it's not just a reg change. I feel it's a actual racing change. The drivers had to change the way they race the car. That's the same in the previous rule change as well, but I feel this is different. I feel it seems like from what the drivers are saying, that it also depends on the driver. So the driver should make more of a difference in this new reg set. Some drivers have complained. Some drivers have said other things. So I feel like it's a season of just complete new beginnings. I don't think we've had such kind of like ambiguity going into a season before, like this one. And yeah, I don't know, you won't know until, probably the end of final practice 3 next week, Friday. Well, by this time Friday, we'll probably know what the standings are. But I feel there's a lot of ambiguity, which I think is good. I feel like we don't really know who's going to be where. But yeah, as a F1 fan for a long time, I don't. Yeah, this is the first time where I'm thinking, you know what, this could either go really, really well, or this could be actually like generally diabolical, at least for the first couple races as F1 gets used to the new cars, really. So yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm not a hater, but I'm not a lover at the same time.
Fair. No, that's a good assessment on that. And obviously, for listeners and viewers, me and Rafa are on the same F1 chat. And just on last season and the season before, hence why I asked the last 2 years, you were very confident, especially 2 seasons ago now, you were confident in McLaren coming strong midway through
Mm.
the season. And not to say no one agreed with you, but everyone just kind of kept quiet on that. And like you could see the regs at that time kicking into effects for McLaren. And then now last season, you were also confident that Lando was going to win the title, even when he was like in third or second place, sorry, but quite behind Oscar Piastri. You were just confident that he was going to come through in terms of how he'd been racing. And so, do you see McLaren and Lando and even Oscar in that sense, like continuing where they left off from, or do you think there's going to be like a real title challenger for the team and drivers?
Um, I feel the good thing about the F1 season now is it's very long. So you can, like, for example, in McLaren in 2024, they didn't really hit the ground running until Miami. And
Hmm.
then they went on to win the Constructors' Championship. So the good thing is about this season is it's very, very long. And I feel like you have to look at the season in segments. So you take the first batch of races. Maybe for some teams it'll be an extended preseason test, really, until
Mm.
we get to the middle part of the season where rubber needs to meet the road now, get a full map of where everyone is. So I think the last 2 seasons, I think the back end of 2023, McLaren really improved. They had a shocking first half of 2022. 2023, they improved the regular podium scorers. The start of 2024 was a bit troublesome. They had to maneuver around quite a few of their staff. Um, so and then you can really see from 20 to the middle part of 2012 on onwards that McLaren were superior, and that's the beauty of a rules like a new reg change. It can mean that newer teams or older teams can their success can change throughout a
Hmm.
cycle. And we might see that. We might see Mercedes potentially, as they're rumored as to be the team in pole position, streak away with things for the first 2 years, and you might see a Ferrari or Red Bull start to catch up because with this, it's all a science, and with a science, there's a general ceiling, and
Hmm.
it's really depending who gets to that ceiling first, like the first. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know about McLaren. They've had some issues in pre-season testing, especially in Bahrain. I think there was a couple of days where they did some minimal running. Lando seems a lot more happier with the car this time rather than this time last year, where the change in suspension really, kind of hampered. He felt it was quite numb, but this
Hmm.
year he seems a bit more upbeat, which I feel is good. But and they had the McLaren, they had the Mercedes engine as well, which seems to be, the best engine on the grid in terms of power. Ferrari probably in terms of reliability, but in terms of power, they seem to be up there. So I don't know about McLaren specifically. I think they'll be in and around, probably definitely in the podium chase, potentially race wins, but just at the moment it seems like Mercedes and potentially Ferrari um, seem to be the two teams that everyone's talking about.
Mm.
Fair.
Rafa, as I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan, not a Formula One fan, a Lewis Hamilton fan. So
Yeah.
going into the season, obviously Lewis Hamilton had well, first year at Ferrari last year. What do you feel, and what do you think the aspirations for him this year in a new year at Ferrari, kind of new regulations? As you said earlier, it's the
Mm.
driver that's going to matter. I feel like he's the best driver on the grid, him or Max Verstappen, just the driving styles. So how do you feel like Lewis Hamilton is going to perform this year, going forwards? And do you feel like it's going to be similar to last year, where there's a lot of problems within Ferrari and how it's kind of been for Ferrari for the last like 10 years? Or do you feel like it's going to be more of a plain sailing kind of thing for him?
Ferrari is for me, out of all the top teams, the most interesting um, in terms of how their preseason went because I believe they actually only ran one engine during the whole preseason testing, so they didn't need to change. Other teams had to change engine for reliability, for wear, but Ferrari, I think, for like I want to say the whole test used the same engine. um, which means that Ferrari seem to be the most reliable team on the grid. Now, reliability is quite boring, but especially in a new regs change, that's the number one thing you want. Because there's no point having been the fastest car and conking out at lap 15. So Ferrari seems to be interesting. On the Lewis Hamilton side, I think he put out a post a couple of days ago where he said, this is going to be an incredible season. He's really proud of the team. So from it, from his standpoint, it seems like he is in a much better space this year than last year. Because I think last year was his worst year in the sport.
I agree.
And it wasn't even a bad year. I think Aaron Rodgers says some of my years for other people, my worst years for other people are career years for others. And it wasn't a bad year. If another driver had that year, it'd be pretty okay. But for Lewis standards, it's not where he wants to be. But I feel like from this looking at it, I feel like he will have a better year this year. I feel that he is, in a better headspace. And yeah, it's just going to be a much smoother time for him.
I feel
Well,
like a
So
part of that.
go through.
I feel like a part of that was due to Ferrari's strategies as well, because sometimes I feel like they just got in their own way in terms of, yeah, they might not be going for a podium, but a fourth, fifth should be on the cards for them, but just somehow didn't happen.
But do you not feel like strategy for Ferrari has been a problem forever? As I feel like ever
but
since I've been watching F1 anyway.
Yeah, but when Hamilton coming over, you think, all right, maybe they're going to do something about it, but they just did nothing about it.
They
Last
didn't
year
change
was
anything though.
I think
They changed him
last
now,
year,
but like,
think
should have
last
been
year was
happening.
probably. I think Ferrari were lucky that they weren't actually their car wasn't as good as it was. Last year there was quite a few times. I think in Miami, if you remember, was it Miami, where I think Hamilton was on the better tire behind Leclerc, and they didn't invert them at all. There was times where Ferrari dropped the ball, but because the car wasn't nowhere near the McLaren or even Max and the Red Bull at certain points, nobody picked up on it. There's been a few changes as well on Lewis' side. Obviously, I think Adami has gone.
yes.
So we don't know if that's going to improve or potentially could make it worse. We don't know. Because we
I
don't.
was on that. I was going to say, I remember seeing last week or so that I think Lewis said it's detrimental to his season at the fact that he was awaiting a permanent race engineer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been sorted because I've actually not looked this week, but I mean, a fortnight into the season started and not having a race engineer is,
It's pretty
That
big.
that is alarm bells ringing.
I
That is
mean, I
definitely
think
alarm.
that sums up Ferrari though in like the last 10, 15 years maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I tell you guys I'm a Alonso fan, I know how that means. I know the pains of Ferrari, but I do feel Fred Vasseur again. He was going through some problems in terms of the hierarchy last year because the car wasn't performing well. But it seems like there's like a breath of fresh air around it. The team now. They've got some new innovations. I don't know if you saw the upside down rear wing they've got. We don't know if it's going to be fast,
Yep.
but it shows it's not really about if it's going to work. It's more a case of they're thinking outside the box now. They're looking to make the car as as kind of smart as possible in terms of what they've got. So it's going to be interesting. And I am actually really optimistic for Ferrari. I'm not gonna make my predictions just yet. I'll probably get onto that later. But yeah, I have strong feelings about Ferrari. And strong feelings about Leclerc and Hamilton. About how well they're gonna do this year.
Yeah, because even with that rear wing, as well as that opening, they also got the front wing
Yeah,
that opens up too.
yeah. That it does look. It does look like they've taken their time with this car. And maybe they had a bad car last year because again, most of the teams were sacrificing a lot of performance in 2025 for 2026. So
Yeah.
it could be that's the reason, because I actually anticipated Ferrari to have a much, much stronger 2025 than they did. But maybe it's because they were diverting, their kind of resources to this year.
But is there a case with all this innovation they're adding to the car just might be worse? Because we know Ferrari have a track record,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's not
it's
a, it's
funny.
not
I think, if I'm not mistaken, each time they've had a new revelation, well, I think the last two times, Ferrari have finished second in the constructors. I think might need to fact check that, but I'm pretty sure. I think they had a really strong 2017 with Vettel, didn't win the title, and then 2022 with Leclerc versus Max, which lasted half a season because the Red Bull went like that.
yeah.
And Ferrari kind of just couldn't finish races. So yeah, I feel like it can do it. I could be wrong. There's a good chance that I am, and Ferrari are, you know, blood brothers with Cadillac at the back. But
You've just put them in the back like that.
yeah, they share the same engine anyway. So
Blood brothers.
yeah, it could be.
That's dark. I can't lie.
That Italian American connection. 11th, 10th. At the back of the grid. But no, yeah, it could all go wrong. But it seems like from some trusted journalists that the vibe around Ferrari is a lot better than it was exactly this time 10 months ago, going into the Australian Grand Prix, which again is going to be I think it's going to be actually a very interesting race next week. I don't know what's going to happen. The race starts might be terrible. I don't know. We might have 10 cars finishing the race. I don't know what's going to happen next week, but it seems like Ferrari are in a good position.
Do you feel like you spoke on Cadillac just there? Do you feel like Cadillac are gonna be anything to fear this year, or do you feel like they're actually just gonna be at the back?
I feel like they're going to be at the back, but I think they're okay with that. I think for them, this year is more about installation. It's more about doing the processes right, getting to the races with all their gear, making sure they've got, just doing the absolute basics is going to be a kind of success for them. Now, Cadillac are owned by General Motors. They can't be terrible for a long, long time because they're going to be putting a lot into this. General Motors are one of the most successful automotive groups on the planet. They're not just in this game to make numbers. They are here to win. But I feel like, and the same with Audi as well. I feel like the first bit is mainly about getting to the races, reliability, finishing races. So I don't think there'll be anything to fear. They might be an Aston Martin, every other race, because Aston Martin don't seem to be doing anything at the moment. But it might be I think you'll see mostly them at 22nd and 21st on the grid.
I mean, they've got two experienced drivers in Perez and Bottas, so maybe they could
I think
help
the most
slightly.
I think the most interesting thing coming out of the Bottas and Perez relationship, teammate, will mainly be, you'll probably see on Twitter, there'll be a lot of comparisons between the two, because obviously one was Hamilton's teammate for the longest time and one was Max's teammate for the longest time. So there's going to be a bit of that coming up between the Verstappen and Hamilton fans. But that's probably going to be the most exciting thing. Cross comparing the two teammates to see who actually had the harder teammates when they were both in their pomp.
I mean, we know. Sorry, Jacob. Before you go on, we know that is Lewis that had the harder teammates.
Yeah.
But as you said,
Perez
that,
on a street track.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you not feel like Perez is one of the more underrated drivers on the track? Because I felt like he could do a lot with less, or could do a lot with. I feel like less help. But Max just happens to be like the only one that can actually drive that Red Bull. So I feel like he could do. I feel like he's an underrated driver for me personally. Anyway, I feel like in an underrated car, he exceeds expectations.
And on that, Perez did make a few comments saying it's like crazy difficult being the second driver to Max because things are more or less tailored for Max
Of course.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think both things can be true. I think you can be underrated and you can also be up against arguably one of the greatest F1 drivers of all time, but also from what I understand, I feel Red Bull did tailor the car to Max, not because it's just Max, but he seems to be able to drive the car
Better
closest to
than
its potential in terms of they
yeah.
would. Red Bull won't build the car around a driver per se. They'll build it to be the fastest it can, and it seems like Max can only handle that in terms of the Red Bull family. We'll see how Hadjar does this year. That's going to be very, very interesting to see. But yeah, I feel like Perez was underrated. He had some great. He's not really the guy to watch over a single lap, but he's a guy to watch over a stint potentially. He's a guy that on his day he can just pull out a result out of nowhere on his day. We've seen that, but he's not again the fastest, or he's not a Bottas. A Bottas when on Hamilton's pump, you'll challenge him for pole, and sometimes you'll beat him as well. That's what Bottas is about. When it comes to doing that for 60 or 70 laps, that's where Bottas tends to struggle. So we might see a case of where Bottas out-qualifies him, I don't know, 20 to like 4. But then when you look at race head-to-head, it might be more on Perez's side. We'll see. We don't know. But yeah, I feel like anyway, Bottas is a better driver.
Oh, that's interesting you say that. I feel like Bottas is a better qualifying driver.
Yeah.
I don't want him in races. Do you get what I mean? Like he's a perfect second driver to have because he's never gonna really challenge your main man in terms of like in race pace. Whereas Perez, I feel like he's got better race pace than Bottas has.
I feel it's all this is quite difficult to, unless you have the numbers to have a look and see. But I feel that Hamilton, I don't think there was much of a pace gap between Hamilton and Bottas. I mean, there was, but in terms of like when you actually compare him to Hamilton, it's not that bad at all. But Hamilton just has a unique ability to drive a car metronomically, where, lap after lap in a race, you don't see too much of a drop-off, even though the tyres might be hanging off the side of a car. Similar to Max, that's what Max has. But I feel like Bottas is just unfair that he was in the W11 at the same time as Hamilton. I mean, honestly, if you remove Hamilton from the equation, Bottas's career probably looks a lot better than it does. And he's probably still at Mercedes right now with George Russell. So yeah, it's difficult, but I guess this is the year that we'll find out to see.
You mentioned your favorite driver. I don't know if the boys heard. Fernando Alonso.
I don't know why. I had a feeling it would be Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso. This guy Rafa can write a thesis back in Fernando Alonso like no other in that F1 track. You and Roy, my gosh.
If you got time, I can run for you.
Nah, I hear it. From what I've seen of testing and from what I've read, not seen more so, what I've read, it's not really looking that promising for Aston Martin.
41
and
laps
your
or
favorite
something.
driver,
41 laps completed for the testing for the couple of days that he had.
It's not looking good. And obviously, how many years now is it that Fernando Alonso hasn't won a race?
I knew this question was going to come up. I think it's now, it'll be 13 years in May. So yeah, it's a long time.
Tell us why Fernando Alonso is your favorite F1 driver of all time. We'll do rankings at some point, but like in terms of his racing style, his craft, everything.
He's my favorite racer of my lifetime. Of all time, that's a probably different question. But of my lifetime, I started watching F1 in I think my first race I ever watched was in 2004. So Schumacher was the guy. Obviously, I rated Schumacher. And then obviously in 2005, there was a new champion on the block, and that was Fernando. So I grew up, everyone hailing Schumacher, and then seeing this kid from Spain just, 2005 wasn't really a contest, but again, he beat him in machinery that wasn't probably as good over the course of the season. So, yeah, I got swept into Alonso mania, and it's a hard club to leave, even though it has been 13 years of consistent pain. But yeah, I feel Alonso is he's a racer, but also I feel he I think in terms of the way he thinks about the sport, um, how he kind of, thinks about things like overtaking, things like how he's one of those drivers that is just so metronomic. Um, I just feel that for me personally, that is the best I've seen. And I think there's real 2 seasons that kind of really show that why. One, 2006, and two, 2012, where he didn't win the championship, but probably was the best driver on the grid that season, taking that Ferrari to where it was. He always seems to be the person that, can get, more than others out of a car. He kind of reminds me a little bit of LeBron 2018, 2016, taking teams that, yeah, they were good, but putting them in places where probably they shouldn't be. That's the reason why I rate my sportsmen by what have you done with what you have in your position, and how have you been able to maximize that. And now, yeah, he's not won many races. Well, he's not won any races in 13 years, but he's always has put cars where they probably shouldn't be. Even at the age of, what's he, 44?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that's my main reason, because again, everyone says F1 is an engineering sport. The best driver doesn't always win the championship.
Mhm.
If there was, then the championships would look a lot different. So yeah, that's the reason why I rate him so highly.
Do you ever feel with Alonso, and I don't know if this question has been posed to you or if I've seen an answer, but do you ever feel Alonso also made wrong career moves as to
Yeah.
why he hasn't won as much as he should have in your eyes anyway?
I feel that yes, he's ultimately made wrong decisions, in where to go. But if you actually look back and actually place yourself at the time and think, would I have done that? So would I have moved from, you know, Renault to McLaren in 2006? I probably would have, because
Yeah.
McLaren, um, again, with Ron Dennis at the helm, seemed to be, a team that were up, and they were. Now, the reason why that broke down was a combination of having a rookie teammate as good as Lewis Hamilton, and also not feeling supported as much from Ron Dennis, and that kind of situation blew up. He moves back to Renault for a year or two. That one I don't really care about, because that was more of a case of, moving, just getting out of the situation of McLaren, which he can place a lot of the blame at his door. Moving to Ferrari in 2010, I mean, that was a good career choice. Probably didn't yield what you wanted. It was a world championship, but that was a good career choice. Now, a lot of people say moving to McLaren, back to McLaren, wasn't, but I understand why he did it. Ferrari weren't going anywhere. He was looking for that title, and yeah, it just didn't work out. And they always say hindsight is such a wonderful thing. And they were made with great intentions, but sometimes it doesn't work out. But some of them, yeah, the fault can be placed squarely at his door, for some of them.
Do you think any Spanish drivers can overtake Alonso in your book into greatness for you personally? Or do you feel like he's just going to be the standalone? Do you feel like any Spanish drivers coming up can be the one?
It's difficult to say. And the reason why I would say there probably is just because when you look at the numbers, it doesn't look so lordy. It's not, he's a 2-time world champion. I mean, that, separates him from a lot. But I mean, there's guys with 4, 5, 6, and 7. Well, there's 2 of 7. Maybe should have done one with 8. Not gonna
Mhm.
lie.
Not maybe, not maybe.
But
Definitely.
no, definitely, actually, definitely. That was a robbery. But anyway, we're gonna stay clear of
Mm.
that discourse.
Yeah.
That's that topic's free podcasts alone. I,
Just-
I think there's a chance potentially. F1's growing in Spain due to what Alonso, and now obviously you see people like Carlos Sainz coming into the sport as well.
Mm.
So yeah, on the face of it, just looking at the numbers on a board, yeah, potentially there can be, but I feel like it's a very much of a case of you kind of had to be there to see how great it was. In my opinion, there's
Mm.
just certain races and certain things he's done. Winning from 11th place at his home GP in 2012. The fight back in Hungary 2006. There's so many magical moments that he's created, just like other great champions have. Um, that won't be really quantified by the numbers.
Mm.
As per se, he's not going to have the same stats as Verstappen or same stats as Hamilton, but in terms of ability, he's right up there. So yeah, I do believe there could be a Spaniard in not the too distant future that can be more than a two-time world champion and a 32-time race winner. For sure, definitely.
But the longevity has to count for something. The length of time you're driving the vehicle for, because we
Mhm.
know to be in an F1 car is probably the hardest job in the world. There's the spots are few and far between, literally. So surely there's something for the length of time that he's driven in Formula One, and for people to still trust him at his age right now, where there is young and up and coming, exciting talents that can't get a seat. But guaranteed most years, Alonso has a seat somewhere. So
Yeah.
that should count for something, I'd say, in the rankings.
And on top of that, he took a few years out of F1 to do driving elsewhere.
Yeah.
Won I can't remember the exact one, but he
Yeah,
won a
the modern,
championship.
yeah, it's as I say, I think he's an all-round racer, and I think to be going at this age, admittedly he's not having the success that he once had, but still be
Mhm.
going at this age with guys that are half his age, guys that he could have actually fathered mathematically, he could have actually fathered
Yeah.
them, is it's testament to one. It's not really about, for me, the actual physical side of it is impressive, but it's more the mental side of it. It's more
Mhm.
the still waking up every morning to do the same things for, what is it, nearly 25 years now. Yeah, almost 25 years now. So yeah, that is definitely something. Again, guys like LeBron to be playing, even still being in the league at this age
Mm,
is insane.
yeah.
And
Don't
so
don't forget your guy Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, I know that's another guy we need to talk about as well. Yeah, still going
Mm,
at this age is insane. Yeah, it's definitely insane. But I feel like it will start to get rubbed out a bit by how sports now allows you to do that with the technologies with it. Footballers are playing for longer than ever. Modric plays for my club at 40 and looks like he's still 29. Um, you
Syria's
know,
terrible, though.
I
I'll
feel
be
like
honest.
we'll talk about that. You better take that back. Uh, yeah, I feel like it might start to look a bit mundane what he's doing, but we know it's not. Because again, just sports technology now is insane. It just allows you to do things for so much longer.
Mm,
But before we move off this F1 topic, yeah, from one Spaniard to another Spaniard, yeah, let's look at this Williams team. Do you think, yeah, that the progress that they made last year and them halting their progress to focus on this year, do you think they're going to see any improvements?
Williams is, for me personally, one of the just it's just one of the saddest stories of preseason, because the progress they made last year was fantastic. I think that's the highest they finished in Europe for a decade, really, or half a decade. I think. I think they finished, was it fifth or sixth? I think. Yeah, so it's really sad to see. I expect them to be, much higher in terms of kind of the rankings of preseason. That they could turn up to a track next week and win by 50 seconds, and I could look very, very stupid. But yeah, they switched to development very, very early. And everyone thought, right, they're going to have a Merc engine next year. They're going to be up there, closer to more of their glory days in the past. But it seems like the 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 eyes were too big for their stomach. Williams aren't the team that they were 30 years ago. They not saying they've been left behind by the former rivals like Ferrari and McLaren, but they kind of have from a financial standpoint. It's going to take them a long time to get that scale up to that. So that probably the eyes are too big for the stomach. But again, the good thing for Williams is the season is very long. These are probably one of the teams that, are gonna have to take the first couple of races as an extended test to figure out what's working well, what's not working well. Mainly probably to shed weight as well, because a lot of these cars will be coming in overweight. So it's probably going to be the first 6 races as an extended test for Williams, which is fine. For the first half of the year, the new reg set, that's okay, because you can make up places quite rapidly, just as McLaren did in 2024. But yeah, it seems like they're a bit behind, but I wouldn't say they're the worst we've seen. They're not probably as bad as Aston Martin or as bad as Cadillac look. So otherwise, quite underwhelming. It's something that they can sort out.
I mean, just before we move off Williams, we saw signs. He second half of the season, especially to the latter part, he came off strong. Well, credit to him, he capitalized on people's mistakes and stuff.
Sainz is your boy, isn't he? That's your.
I've always never minded Sainz.
Oh no, never mind. I thought that was your boy. No,
it was me that started Carlitos, but I don't think people clocked.
Yeah, exactly.
I did that to troll everyone that hated him, because I was like, I don't really dislike him in it. So I was like, someone has to back him. You get me? But yeah, he came strong towards the end of the season. How many podiums did it? He got one. Definitely got one podium.
2. I think he got one in Azerbaijan and one in Qatar. I think
so. Again, you said, maybe it's the start of the season will be an extended testing for some of these teams, Williams being one of them. 2 more quick things before we move off F1. Your driver, you may have said it already in terms of Lewis, but your driver and your potential team to watch for this season, who you think can shock in any capacity, and then your top 5 drivers of all time before we move off F1.
So the team that I will be looking out for, and it's a team that I actually don't really like. Alpine are a team that I feel like are going to be kind of. They're not going to trouble the top 3 or 4, but I feel they're going to be a strong, consistent midfield runner. I feel like Pierre Gasly is a solid midfield driver. He's not the flashiest, but he's going to give you 7 out of 10s most weekends. As long as he's their French driver. He's going to be their flagship driver. Colapinto, I think there's some raw talent there. I think he does need to be polished a bit more, but that comes with time anyway. So yeah, I feel like Alpine are going to be a team that I'll keep my eye on for some surprise results. If I was going to pick a midfield team to win a race this year, I would pick Alpine, because I feel like, one, they've got the engine, and Alpine have had the history with Renault of winning. So winning is not foreign to them. They've done it before. So yeah, I'm gonna pick out Alpine for the surprise. And the second question is
second one was top 5 drivers of all time.
In order?
I mean, if you want to give order, go ahead, because I feel like you'll never enough have your order. Your top 5 drivers of all time.
Top 5.
I know you're also a big historian.
So my number 1 all time is going to be Alan Prost, because I feel
over Senna. Wow.
And the reason being is Senna did it wrong in terms of if I went for just raw talent, in terms of if I just stuck anybody behind the wheel, yeah, Senna, Hamilton or Schumacher might be above him. But when I let's take a step back and look at how well-rounded Prost is, the guy he's just a machine. I think there's a stat which says I think if it's for another 13 points or something, it could have went from a 4-time to a 7-time world champion. If you look at the teammates he's had, list of world champion teammates, I think only Hamilton's comes close in terms of competitiveness. I think he had Senna. He had Rosberg, I'm pretty sure. He had Lauda. He's had, later champions like Damon Hill. So he's had a whole host of all-star teammates beside him. And again, with all these drivers from back in the day, there's like a mythical thing. He's a professor. He's a guy that, he sets up his own car. He's his own engineer. So I feel like for me, that is the reason why Prost is my favorite driver of all time. My favorite driver that I've ever seen with my own two eyes in my lifetime, I'd put second. So I would put Alonso second. Then for me, it's the 2 7-time world champions. I always think, who I prefer and what the impact on the sport they've done. But I would say the reason why I would say Hamilton is because over Schumacher is because one, when I think of, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but forgive me. I feel like Hamilton's had more to deal with throughout his career in terms of his teammates. Schumacher is a all-time great, but he did have Barrichello for a teammate for the best part of 5 years. Now Barrichello, he's a solid driver, but I do feel that his teammates weren't as Hamilton's had Alonso, Hamilton's had Rosberg, he's got Leclerc right now. So I feel like his teammates have given him a bit more of a pedestal than Schumacher. Then I would have Schumacher because he probably has the most iconic storyline of all time, bringing back Ferrari to the top step of the podium, and doing it again for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And for me, it's probably the most, when I think of an F1 driver, I'd probably think of Schumacher first in terms of his his level of consistency. But also, again, with all these drivers that have it, and I know it's a TikTok word, but his aura actually was a thing. I'm not even joking. His aura was a big part of the Michael Schumacher thing. It's similar to what Max does today in terms of you don't really want to get an award with him because he will do 10% more than you would do. He would go to, what did Young Spray say? Machine for machine. That's what he's about. Machine for machine. So that's the reason why I would go for him. And that kind of Jose. Well, I know he's listen. I'm not bigging up Jose because you need to chat about him. But that kind of Jose Mourinho kind of by any means possible kind of way, Diego Simeone, he's got that kind of trait as well. He would do anything he needs to do to win. And then last, I'll have I'll say the godchild of F1. I'll probably have Senna because again, the numbers don't lie. The guy was a freak. He's not my favorite just because again, I prefer a different way of approaching sport, but he's arguably the fastest driver we've ever seen in the sport. But again, I feel like there's more things in F1 about than being just fast. There's other things to make you a more well-rounded driver.
Fantastic.
It's a good 5. It's a good 5.
I know I'm gonna get cooked on live for that, but that's fine.
Hey, it's
Maybe not,
your 5.
Maybe not. It's yours, man.
No, but Senna at 5
fine.
that's the one. The Brazilians are gonna be looking at you funny.
I know.
Let them come.
And I dissed Rubens as well. They're not gonna like me. They're not gonna like me. That's fine. I had Master in my top 10. I'm joking.
Hello, well, ain't he still appealing the championship?
Yeah, You know, I can't lie. I've got a nook. Listen, I used to rate myself for that, bro. Just allow it, man. You know when I was at Kane, they're still going on about that.
Hey,
Yeah, just
winners want to
that.
win, man. Winners want to win.
I
He's
know.
just, it's ingrained
Yeah,
in him.
Hey,
I know.
right. That's nearly what 20 years or whatever. Hey,
Mm,
F1 finito. Hey, Milan, Serie
yes.
A. I'm gonna kick off with the first question, and I'm just gonna let the boys come on to this because obviously Jacob made a comment about Serie A not too long
Mm.
ago, and then you went. But Milan, why AC Milan? Why do you support them? The floor is
So,
yours. Then, Jacob, do your thing.
so as a Ghanaian, a lot of before when you come to Europe, a lot of the first destination stop is Italy. So I've had a lot of family members, you know, live in Italy. So yeah, that's where my influence of Italian football came from. I feel like,
Which
especially I
one?
think, so
Can you can speak Italian, right? Can't you?
nah,
Oh,
I can hear bits of it, but nah, I'm a straight English and a bit of Tree in it. You know, you have to.
Hey,
Especially
sorry to
when
interrupt.
you're chatting to mums, you have to, you know, you when you code switch, language switch, all of that. Uh, yeah, so yeah, a lot of influence from that. You know, and also I think I was blessed to grow up in a time where Serie A was respected. Unlike, you know, what Jacob said about my league, I can't believe that. Honestly, we've fallen a little bit, but no, yeah, it's coming from that, but also Serie A was always on TV, Channel 4, Channel 5 even. It was always on TV. There was always a late game, 7:45 kickoff on TV. So, you know, when the Prem was done on a Sunday at 4:30, slap on, you know, Channel 4, Channel 5, now TNT Sports if you want to watch. Done some sponsorship there for the league. So yeah, it's always accessible. And that's the reason why watching the greats play the game over in Italy was one of the reasons why that AC Milan caught my attention. I forgot to say my brother is actually supports the other side. And so does my mum. So they're Nerazzurri, Rossoneri. It's war every derby. March the 8th is coming. So yeah, and
Hold on,
again,
quickly. Does your mom actually like follow football
oh,
like
100%.
that?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, she don't.
Jeez.
Yeah, because obviously there was football in Ghana, but
Mhm.
obviously when you come to Europe, it's more accessible, so you can just sit down on the TV, just watch it after work, and you know it's just there everywhere.
Mhm.
Especially back in the times when she moved there. So yeah, yeah, it's great though to have that kind of rivalry. And I feel like, you know, there aren't many better rivalries in Italy. Well, than the Milan derby or any Italian rivalries as well. There always seems to be quite ferocious.
Go on,
Rafa,
Jake.
I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I just got to ask you one thing. Why has Italian football died?
Juventus. 2006. No, well, yes, that is actually what's going on. Calciopoli, if you heard of it, the scandal. That's where it actually all started, in my opinion. The sanctions labelled on Juventus, and well, we were incorporated as well. We did a bit of shady dealings ourselves. I'm not gonna lie, but it did harm Italian football. Juventus relegated to Serie B. Milan had a lot less caps to spend. So when your top teams in the league can't spend anymore, it attracts less talent to the league. So again, it's all started from that point there. But yeah, I feel like recently, and I know everyone's been writing eulogies on Serie A, but in the last couple of years, we've probably been the second best country in Europe in terms of
Nah, we're
club.
not going to let you have that one. Just because you're
Well,
making it to finals,
let
don't
me
mean you're...
just
That's a
let me
madness,
just
bro.
let me just pull up the coefficient.
That
I
don't
think
sound right, bro. Don't sound right.
I feel like we're second in the coefficients. So it's yeah, it's I feel like there's a couple things that happened. Obviously Juve losing 5-2, French Montana coming out at the Juve ground singing.
That there
Um,
was confusing.
that when I can't lie, I was looking at my even teamy brothers saying, "Bro, what are you doing? This is my league that you're ruining here."
I mean, you can just look at
Um,
the player of the season last season. I think, it doesn't really
what
seem right.
This McTominay.
McTominay. Now,
Yeah.
this is the thing. This is the thing. I don't think that that's an issue, in my opinion. The reason being is I feel like McTominay wasn't being played in the right positions he should have been at United. He wasn't a 6. He wasn't a 8. He was a box crasher, and that is all he does at Napoli.
What?
He's a
I'm so,
box crasher.
We,
I
we,
didn't even know
Nah.
Ted just gone into his
we
camera like
talking
this,
about?
man.
Hmm?
Rafa
I'm
has blamed Manchester United
What?
for his
He's-
league being
He's,
But
bad.
I'm
he said
listen.
McTominay, calm for player of the league.
Listen, he was a box crasher and he had a phenomenal season. That is what
Oh,
he is.
to be fair,
And
Napoli won the league and he was a big part of it in his first
yeah,
season. So
Yes,
it
but
is
Man
what it is.
United couldn't win anything, still can't win anything, and he wasn't a big part of that team.
Listen,
no,
I'm not hearing no McTominay. United didn't utilize, bro. He was at the club for basically 9 years. They played him in those positions,
In every
everything.
position.
Came in every aspect as a midfielder. It's
And,
just
and he was a leak.
he suits where he is.
He was a
now.
media
That's all
leak.
I've got to say.
all right, okay.
This-
So
This is the
let me
thing.
And well done to him because I'm always happy for United graduates.
big it,
Wherever
cool.
they do.
but I feel like it's not the case of the league. I do feel like it is a case of he has found a spot, not because of the quality, but he's actually found a spot where the system actually works for him in terms of he does have that license. He's got 2 guys behind him that take care of everything defensively in terms of Anguissa and Lobotka. He doesn't do any tempo. He's not come here and acts like Prime Pirlo or something. He's come here and been the guy that is he's basically the Frank Lampard of Napoli. Just you know the late box runs. You know the shots from the edge of the box. He's not come here and been messy. He's come here and been effective, and that's what I feel like when people laugh. It's like, yeah, he's not the best player in the league, but he's been very, very, very effective for what Napoli do. Well, Napoli did because they're not doing the exact same anymore
Even
in the
Anguissa.
league this year.
Even Anguissa. you gotta think of it.
Again, Anguissa was another prospect that should have performed better than he did in the Premier League. But I feel like people forget that it works kind of both ways. Salah was great in our league, don't get me wrong, but he blew up in the Prem. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's a case of sometimes it's not about where you are, it's about who you're with. It's
To be
about
fair, on
who
Anguissa,
works.
I thought he was actually decent
Yeah.
at Fulham anyway. Like
He
I
was-
never thought he was. I thought he was a fairly good player at Fulham.
Yeah,
Like
and Gisa was again, and the reason being is obviously Napoli would probably have to shove out Fulham because Prem League was where the Mueller is at. If he was at a better club, Napoli probably wouldn't have afforded to bring him there. Or I think did they get relegated when they brought him?
Yeah, he went on loan.
yeah,
or loan. That's it. So
Yeah.
again, my thing is the disparity between the Premier League and Serie A, in my opinion, is more in the bank. When I watch both leagues, they're completely different. Don't get me wrong.
you know what? From what I've seen of this season, Serie A has been very good to watch.
Yeah, but they're playing against Serie A sides.
Yeah, true. True.
They're going machine for machine.
Yeah, this is why it's good to watch because
What are you saying? The low machine there.
yeah,
The snub nose 38, fam.
when any Serie A side has to box someone in a serious game in the Champions League or something like that, you see what happens. You see what happens.
Well, I think Arsenal beat
You
Inter
think?
3-1. Which
No, I know.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But I think Juventus beat City last year. I think they beat them like 2-0, 3-1. Like, I feel like there are isolated incidents where the the Prem will look better. The top teams in the Premier League are better than the top teams in Serie A. That's one thing I can't really deny. But I feel like it's in football, we focus on too much of the top of the table, in my opinion, in terms of if we just base a league performance on 20% of the performance in league in Europe, I don't think that's the right benchmark.
Okay, Rafa, do this. Tottenham can get relegated from the Premier League.
Yeah.
Does Tottenham win Serie A right now?
No.
Do they finish second in Serie A right now?
No.
Come on now, Rafa. Be honest with me. Be honest with me.
No, I honestly, I wouldn't. I don't. I think Tottenham would be maybe a bit higher, but not much. The strength of Serie A at the moment is in the mid-table. That's where some of the best football is being played. I'm not even gonna lie. As a Milan fan, we play the worst, not the worst, but we play pragmatic football. But if you take sides like Como, if you take sides like Bologna,
I was about to say Bologna's football inside crazy.
Yeah, I think that the kind of the Serie A isn't top heavy; it's more kind of middle heavy.
On that, Fiorentina, they had a good last season.
Yeah.
And then this season, they were rock bottom for a period. Now they're out the relegation zone, but they were rock bottom for a minute.
Yeah, and I know obviously a lot of Prem fans will laugh at Como and Bologna and think like that.
No, those are good sides.
They're pasta sources or something, like that's
where one of them originates from.
Well, Bologna is actually maybe it is, but I feel like there are teams in a mid table of Italy that would comfortably compete with teams in the mid table of the Premier League. I feel like what's happened is the top level of Serie A isn't able to compete with the Premier League because the top leagues in the Prem just have a amount of capital that Serie A doesn't have the access to. But the mid-table, I feel like we can go band for band in the mid-table.
I have to humbly disagree with you, just because I understand that the mid-table Prem clubs also have the cheddar and the capital that some of these top-level Premier League clubs, like take a Bournemouth, for example. Bournemouth have silly money there.
Yeah, they're taking players off you. Well, when you lot are going for the same targets.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I feel like it's kind of not lost in the mid-table, but I feel like it's easier to see the disparity in the top between the two leagues, but it's a lot harder in the middle. That's just personally because I feel like teams like Como do actually have money because of
location.
Who owns them?
Yeah.
Atalanta have money because who owns them, but also I feel scouting in the middle bit of the Prem of Serie A is really, really good. If you look at some of the players that have been brought in by the mid-table teams, the scouting's great, and I feel like coaching, especially with like coach like Palladino Italiano, I feel like mid-table Serie A teams are coached really, 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 really well. So I think yes, whilst Prem has the money, I feel like Serie A has really good scouting, but also again really a foundation of really strong managers, and that's what Italy have always had. Italy have always had a base of really good managers. Allegri came from I think Cagliari. Conte got a couple of teams relegated in Serie D, and he became one of the best managers in Italy. So again, the upcoming coaches are Palladino and Italiano. So I think coaching and the tactical side is what Serie A is about. Premier League, I'm not just saying you lot are money merchants, you kind of are, but I feel like your ability to get especially foreign talent, is what makes the Premier League so good. I feel like, what's that Bournemouth kid, Ryan, from Brazil?
Yeah.
Just scorching up the league immediately. I just feel like that's what the Prem's able to do that. And that is, again, the main difference, in my opinion, is the Premier League, the board of the Premier League, whatever, is so much better than Serie A. The infrastructure of Serie A, the broadcasting deals the Prem is able to do, the marketing the Prem's able to do versus Serie A is completely, it's like night and day. It's like we're still stuck in the 2000s and you guys are not even current day. You guys are, forward thinking in terms of that.
I mean, in the 90s, it was Serie A. That's
Mhm.
the Premier League now.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why my like confusion comes in, because obviously the Premier League brand is huge and it's
Yeah.
worldwide. But what do you feel like could be done to get Serie A to that same level that it was in the 90s? Obviously, money is going to be a huge factor, but you also have to think about players were the real key, and players wanting to go to players. I feel like still signed to AC Milan to this day because Ronaldinho was there. Because
100%, yeah.
Beckham, do you get what I mean? Certain players went there. So the history of the football club. When I was growing up, I had a Juventus shirt because Vieira was there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan, but it was the key. It was like, oh, them man were there, so that's why I want to go and
Yeah.
play.
Iconic.
So, do you feel like Serie A can ever get back to the level it was in the 90s? And with the as you said, the mid-table being so strong, surely that's a great bargaining tool kind of to work with. Do you get what I mean? Because you have a strong league.
Yeah, I feel like from off the pitch, firstly, I feel like we've not, as a league, probably put ourselves on the best pedestal. We're signing broadcasting deals on the penultimate weekend, like before the weekend before the season starts in different countries. We're not like the Premier League's been able to penetrate Asia, Africa, America,
Yeah.
well, where Serie A hasn't. We've not had, we can't go. I think India, one of the biggest markets on the planet, we didn't have a broadcasting deal for them for a long time. So that's one of the first things. Is actually one: can we make the league sustainable economically? How can we actually make the broadcasting rights bigger for all the teams? Because that's one of the things in the Premier League, broadcasting rights, the money that teams get from your Sky Sports, your TNT, is vast. That's what fuels transfers, getting better players. So that's the first thing. Second thing is stadiums. Italy, it takes ages to get stuff done. If you want new stadiums built, we've been arguing about a new stadium for us for ages. And just a couple of months ago, it was finally sorted.
I was just about to ask, what is the update on the new stadium for the Milan clubs?
Yeah, so it's finally been kind of formalized, but it's taken best bet 3 to 4 years to do. So it's difficult. The local, communities and councillors don't want to do things that are beneficial to the clubs. Where here, if you wanted to build a stadium, you could do it just anytime. It's easy to do things like that. But for Italy, it takes ages. And the reason why it's a problem is revenue. You can't get, if Tottenham wants to build a stadium, they get all the revenue from the match days. We're not able to do that in Italy. And again, more money means attracts better players. And that's what it is. On the pitch, I don't think there's too much of a difference in terms of enjoyment. Italy is a fantastically to watch, competitive, but for me, the main problem is off the pitch, to get stuff done. So yeah, I feel like on the pitch, it's Serie competitive. We've had a different winner every year since we won it. No, since Juve last won it. So on the pitch, the spectacle, it's fine. It's actually translating that to the masses is the problem. I think once we able to do that, we can get back to those glory days. But we are limited by the powers that be of Serie A. And it's a shame because, again, I'll happily tune in to Pisa versus Como on a Sunday morning at 11:30. Because again, it's more of the football that I enjoy. But yeah, we are not what we used to be. That is a fact. But I do think the league is better than what we're allowing it to show.
So you still believe you're the second best league in the out of European leagues?
I was going to ask.
Yeah, I do. I think in Serie A it has the best competition. Now, don't look at Serie A table right now. I know we're 10 points behind Inter, but don't watch that. March 8th is coming. We're gonna cook. But when I look at other leagues, and I'm talking recent. I'm talking about we had the Juve dominance era, which wasn't great, but recently it's been very, very competitive. But not just competitive up there; it's been competitive down there as well. And I think that's the thing that makes a league great. If you have competition at the top four, competition in the relegation zone. So we've had that a lot over the last couple of years. And yeah, I do think we won't have as much star power as the Premier League or the Liga, mainly because of the powerhouses that are there. But as a quality to watch, in my opinion, yeah, we're right up there with the Premier League. In probably different ways than you might think. I don't know if you watched Juve Inter 2 weeks ago. The games of the season. It's not just in Serie A, just in total. So yeah, it's definitely the second best league in the world. And I'm not hearing it from Bundesliga fans as well. Come on, man, what are we doing?
Bearing in mind on that game, Juve got a disgraceful red card, but they still
Yeah,
managed.
that's the thing. Terrible refereeing makes great games. Great
Don't worry, I don't think the Prem can match that when it comes to refereeing aspects. Maybe not so much the spectacle, but no, it's interesting to hear you say, like, obviously coefficient wise, Serie A is second with their teams, but I do feel we all know La Liga's just been top heavy for years, and
Yeah,
then the other, like
and
you
that
said, Bundesliga, French league, the Serie A has got a case of being the second best league overall
Liga
right
1
now.
ain't bad, you know.
Huh?
Liga
I do
1,
like.
Liga 1
I
ain't
do
bad.
like. I
No,
think Liga's really fun to watch. Honestly,
Yeah.
I do.
I always say that with the French league. It's because the Prem, they end up going buying players from
Yeah,
Liga. Well,
and
I'd say
that's
Ligue 1 players translate the best to the Prem.
and I think Liga's got a thing where France as a whole has got so much talent. It's the reason why
Yeah.
they're tipped to win every national tournament, near enough. Probably apart from this World Cup, where Argentina are probably they're like neck and neck. Yeah, the French league has always got great talent, and that is one thing as well that I will say about Serie A. Homegrown talent hasn't been the best over the last couple of years. And the annoying thing is that when you actually look at the under 19s and 23s, Italy are always there. It's then translating it from the unders to the top line group. And I always think there's a correlation between how well a country does on a consistent basis at at tournament level to how a league performs. If you think about it, Spain was the most dominant. Well, it
Yeah,
kind of
it was.
intertwined in that era where Barca were dominant, Spain were dominant. England, if you have a look at it, now I know there's a lot of foreign imports to here, but if you look at England, the Premier League has been probably the best league in the world since I would say the back end of the 2010s, I would say, where Liga probably lost Messi, Ronaldo, lost a little bit of that pizzazz, that star power. England have been to World Cup semi-final. They've been to a Euros final.
Twice.
They probably twice. They should have probably been they had a good chance of beating France in the World Cup, and again they're favourites to win it again. So I do think having a good base of homegrown talent makes the league better. So
Whereas
again,
Italy will win the Euros and not qualify for the World Cup.
exactly.
Italy are so funny, bro.
But
Catch
that
them on a bad day, they're winning that international
exactly.
tournament, even
Thing is,
World Cup.
and I'm not even joking. I'll show it. So I've got the screenshots, and you know that Euros 2021 picker thing that I had them winning it, but again, that was more of a thing of things coming together at that sort of time where again, I feel like it was kind of the last dance for quite a few of the players there. Verratti's last international tournament. He's not touched the Italian squad since really. Chiellini, Bonucci.
Mhm.
That was the last bits as well. So there was a lot of players in there, quite a few players that had probably reached the high point in their careers. And then since then, yeah, there have been an odd few great young prospects like your Bastonis, like your Tonalis, like your Calafioris and players like that. Bongiorno as well. But yeah, they've not. There's a bit missing, especially at the top end of the pitch. For Italy, I know you guys had to come back in the league for a little bit.
Mm.
They didn't. It looked like he turned a corner at West Ham and then didn't make it. But there feels like there's a bit missing. And Italy's performances definitely at these World Cup qualifiers and World Cups have meant, or no shows at World Cups have meant. I do think there's a problem within Serie A itself with Italian players.
It's that is the translation aspect into
Yeah.
the national team. Before we leave the Serie A talk, your Milan 11
Ooh, I mean,
all-time 11.
when he sent me the message, I thought, oh, actually, this is going to be tough. By the way, the formation is going to be a diamond 4-4-2.
Of course it is.
It
I
has to
love
Has to be.
FIFA back in the day.
It has
Milan
to
and
be.
Juve.
Has to be.
4-4-2. Goal was quite difficult because we've never really been known for our goalkeepers too much. I think also we've had some good deep keepers. Rossi in the 90s, who was probably in the golden era of AC Milan in terms of that 90s period. He's up there. But I would actually go with our current goalkeeper, Mike Maignan. Reason being is I think he had a little bit of a dip. When he came to Man, he was, straight away one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. Had a little bit of a dip, but this season he's been phenomenal.
He signed a new contract, didn't he?
Yeah, signed a new contract, signed new deals. Mate, he saved us so many times during the course of this season. So he's definitely up there. So I'm gonna make him the first choice. Left back, there's no real discussion.
Yeah. First name on the team sheet.
It's Mr. AC Milan. His dad was a player, a legendary player, Maldini. The best fullback ever. And the reason why I say that is not just because he was great defensively, but the guy had tech. And people forget the guy had tech. He wasn't just a guy that, would just, clatter into a man and just celebrate after, not conceding or clearing the ball out for a corner. He was an actual real defender, but also going forward.
Before you move off Maldini, I feel like he's got an argument as the best defender of all time because he can slot into centre half as well and do a stellar job. Not just in Serie A, just overall for Maldini. He's got that argument.
It's a shame that he never got that World Cup with Italy, which is a big shame. He never won anything with Italy either. I don't think he did. He went to the World Cup final '94. Euro 2000 that lost to France with Trezeguet the golden goal and didn't go to the World Cup in 2006. In my opinion, I don't think he wasn't there, so he never won anything with Italy, which is a shame. But he, he's neck and neck with Beckenbauer and people like that, in terms of the greatest defender of all time. In my opinion, he is. Next, that you got, for me, the best centre back ever, in my opinion, as actual centre back, Alessandro Nesta.
My guy, he's my guy. Yeah,
I mean, for me personally, there isn't a flaw to his game. He was graceful on the ball, tough tackling, read the game like a boss. I think there's that clip where he defended Messi at the new camp at age like 30 something. It was just insane. The guy's got, he's just, for me, the best defender. And probably the second best centre back of all time is Baresi. Now I didn't get to watch him. And he wasn't your archetypical tall, strong centre back, but again, in terms of reading the game, in terms of that, he's second to none. He's just, again, he was part of that defense that went that conceded 15 goals in Serie A in a single season. Went unbeaten as well for 58 matches, the longest unbeaten stretch in European history. Coffin, Arsenal, you know, we got you for another 9 games on top of that. Won numerous you know, things with AC Milan as well. So yeah, he's up there. Right back, I'm going with senior man Cafu. I could have gone with Billy Costa Quarta. I never watched Billy Costa Quarta, but I did watch Cafu. Even at the late stage of AC Milan of his career, he was still that guy bombing down the wing. You know, he was one of the first real flying fullbacks in terms of how we think about flying fullbacks today, innovator of his game, and just, you know, when I think of winning football players, he's won the World Cup twice, he's won the Champions League, he's won Serie A. Everything he touches, he wins, and he's just an incredible leader. The defense is easy of AC Milan. The midfield is a problem and that's why I've gone with 4 midfielders. And again, so I'm going to say something very controversial. This guy that I'm probably about to mention
I know what you're going to say, but yes, go on.
He's my favorite footballer probably ever.
I think you feel like he's the best midfielder of all time, or he's better than Xavi.
Yeah, for me, Pirlo is for me the most well-rounded, and 2, I don't think he doesn't play the game like an Italian. A lot of people
look at Jacob.
I know he's not happy with me.
But no, I'm happy with the pick. I'm just not happy with the fact you said the greatest midfielder of all time.
Yeah, and then I know a lot of people would disagree, but for me, the reason being is because, one, he's never in his career, especially since moving to AC Milan, had a drop off. Like he's always been there. His World Cup 2006 campaign, for me personally,
crazy.
One of the greatest midfield campaigns ever. You know, we actually, I think he scored against Ghana in the World Cup. Again, you know, assist in the final, just one of the best performances ever. And then he had again one of the best performances ever by a midfielder at Euro 2012. He's just, in terms of longevity, he's insane. But what the guy could actually do on the pitch. You know, he was press resistant and he was the slowest guy on the pitch. You know, the guy couldn't run more than 5 miles an hour, but he knows where everything was. He played games with his left foot because I think he had a sprain in his right leg. He played couple of games singing on his left foot and didn't look out of place. Like, for me, I could watch Pirlo all day, and that's no sly against your Zidans, your Iniestas, your Xavis, but for me, when I think of the greatest midfielder, I always think of Pirlo. And that's because of the way he played the game. And if you need a free kick, he's got everything in his locker.
He's up there, as I said.
Who's next? I've gone with the 2 Dutch guys either side of him. Now, that could be quite a few Dutch guys, but I've gone with Seedorf. And this one was really tough, but I've gone with Hullet. I could have gone with Rijkaard. He just misses out for me because I feel like, I don't know, Hullet has had some impressive performances for Milan. A couple of them against our title rivals in Napoli in the 80s. So he goes in there for me, a Ballon d'Or winner. Seedorf is just Seedorf. Like, the guy is... he is he's just a freak. His long shots, passing, technical ability, he's just got everything. And then the guy at the top, as you probably know, the Ballon d'Or winner of 2007, Ricardo Kaká.
He's who I used to base my style of play on. Just putting it out.
Me too.
Just putting it
there
out
was
there.
this goal that he scored against Celtic.
Who everyone remembers it.
Just where it's not like he didn't do anything special, but he got the ball, shrugged the man off, ran at the defenders. But the thing is with Kaká, you can't commit. If you commit, he gets ball around. You're never touching him. The guy. I don't think people remember how insane this guy could accelerate. Honestly, it's just it's not human. But then he's got all the finishes, he's got the touch, he's got the skill. He's probably for me the most European Brazilian player ever in terms of he's not your archetypical Jogo Benito kind of Brazilian. He's more of your kind of you know
It's more pace and
yeah,
power
more
with
pace and power with
He's a
skill.
very
ability. Yeah.
he's a very similar. Like I feel like Kevin De Bruyne modeled his game off of Kaka.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you know what?
not bad, you know.
Yeah.
No, and you know what? Yeah, it's true. When you marry the technical ability, because the guy's got probably the best assist in Champions League history. That through ball to Crespo. We won't talk about the rest about that final, but
I can't
but
lie.
yeah.
I thought when you first mentioned him, you were going to talk about the United goal instead of
Well,
Celtic.
that is that's one of my favorite goals of all time. But not the goal that you actually. I think the goal he scored with the header where he poked it past Everton Heinze, but also the whole tie. It's one of my favorite Champions League ties. It's actually my two favorite teams in world football. And when he went back to Milan, that first goal to kind of put us back into the lead of that tie. So yeah, just so many memories. He's a player that I grew up with. So yeah. And then up top, I'll start off with Shevchenko because that is,
Another
growing up.
Ballon d'Or winner.
When I talk about assassin type strikers, that's what he is. He's just in front of goal, any type of finish, header, left foot, right foot, anything. The guy's got it. And he's also, I know he kind of messed up with 2005 Champions League final with the penalty, but in terms of when Milan needed him,
He
was there. Semi-final against Ajax 2003, we needed him. He was there. In the Champions League 2003 against Juve, winning penalty, he was there. So again, it's just one of the best strikers of this century, in my opinion. The knee injuries did rob him a bit of a few more top years, but just a phenomenal striker. And then to round it off, probably in my opinion, the second best striker Serie A has ever had in Marco van Basten. Only behind R9. Because R9 is just R9. But he wasn't the same level in terms of what he did, but he was the R9 before R9 in terms of the best striker in the league, in terms of winning Ballon d'Ors, in terms of winning stuff for his country. He is one of the reasons why the Dutch have got a single Euro win in 1988, I want to say. So for me, he is the perfect striker. He reminds me a bit of Zlatan in terms of their unicorn. You shouldn't really be that tall, that elegant, that great first touch like that. Link in play, but he is a unicorn of a footballer. And to me, I think how do we take maybe one striker ahead of him all time? And that is R9. There are others that potentially can come close, but again, the guy retired at 28, and he's is it 28 or 30 or something like that? And he's easily one of the best strikers ever. And that's my.
You know what? That's a good 11. I'm surprised though that you didn't go with maybe an Inzaghi, and I'm surprised you didn't put Dida in goal.
Yeah, I would have put Dida on goal. Thing is with Dida, right? He's a feast or famine. He did make quite a few mistakes. He did have a stinker in him, but again, he's the reason why we beat Juve in the Champions League at Old Trafford in 2003. So, but I think Maignan as a goalkeeper is better.
Right.
Inzaghi is again born offside, but but the funniest
if
thing,
VAR was alive in Inzaghi's day, half his goals are getting chopped off.
Yeah,
the man was taking advantage of the game. He knew.
I respect it. I loved it.
In terms of finishing,
yeah,
crazy.
Just an unreal finisher. But yeah, you've definitely been on the bench. There's a few guys that are on the bench. Desai didn't make it. Again, rock solid centre back and a CDM. There's so many players that you could have put into this. But
does Ronaldinho sneak in anywhere for you?
Ronaldinho had one really, really good year.
Yeah,
Apart from that, there wasn't much. But that 1 year that he did have was really good.
he was there for the lifestyle, man. Yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Ronaldinho's, when you actually deep his like prime years, they were very short.
Yeah.
yeah.
05, 04, 03, 04, 05, 04,
Yeah,
05,
he, he had
05,
four.
06.
He had 4 years, and then everyone was
Same,
signing him
same,
off of what he did.
same with Kaka, really. From 03,
Yeah,
maybe 08 at a push, that's it. And then
yeah,
the
because
knee
when he
injury.
went to Madrid, he won the man
Yeah,
really.
the knee injury is just.
Yeah,
He had actually a decent first year at Madrid, really, but then the
his
knee injury
game
is just.
changed completely though. You felt
Yeah.
like he turned into like more of a playmaker, like passing the ball
Yeah.
around. It was
He
like
went,
that's it, the man
yeah,
I know. Yeah,
yeah. He completely changed his game. But again, he changed his game and still was damn good.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, because just insane. But yeah,
I think it's
I think that 11 is probably the best. I think that 11 would beat the Prem 11. Actually, all time.
man. Answer the
Oof,
Prem
boy.
11, not even a. But do you know what? The Milan 11 is probably a best club's 11 that it can be. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
That's a historical 11. Like,
It
Yeah, I
is.
think the
It is.
only
If
team.
Henri bucks any of them centre backs, it's over.
Nah.
uh,
The only
yeah.
team that I can think of that
Actually,
I'd really have to think of, but 11 wise, that can probably challenge them is Barca 11 with Messi.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, it's
Madrid,
the ultimate.
Or the Madrid front three. But I'd even have to then think, who am I going to put in the other positions and stuff.
Not like a
I don't.
Madrid all time 11, Joe.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Most of the top players ever have played for Madrid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like their spells at Madrid, some of them weren't great.
You're correct. But what people will forget is they'll just think about where their spell was at the other team and say, that's the player I'm actually picking, but he
they'll
played
go
for
pick
Madrid.
their prime
Yeah,
spell.
Yeah.
No, but Rafa picked the prime Milan spells. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. No,
So
Rafa's
that's
a
what
real fan though.
their comparison will have to be the same for me. It
Yeah.
has to be a prime Madrid spell. It's not just going to be, that name.
Yeah. You'd have to specify what.
Yeah, it's like the the Ronaldo Zidane Madrid. What do they call the Galacticos? They
Yeah,
never won
yeah.
Champions League. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Yeah,
But
it's-
that team's ridiculous when you go man
no,
for man,
it
player for
was.
player.
It was,
I
but
think-
a lot of them wouldn't. For instance, CR7 and Bell might make my front three, and a lot of them won't. Do you
But
know
they
what I mean?
should though. CR7
Mm.
Bell and R9, that should be the front three.
Yeah, but he's the only one that
Mm.
could
But then
have.
Madrid have got strikers, bro.
No, they have. They have
CR7, even Benzema,
Raul,
Raul,
but you then think of like
Bertragano, and all these men from back in the day. Like they've got heaps of strikers. I feel like I do feel like Madrid and Barca's bag is deeper.
Yeah,
So their bag is deeper than ours. But if I went prime for prime,
I think your 11 prime for
Is
prime is
solid.
very hard to beat.
it's one, it's very hard to score against. But two, you've got two of the best strikers in my opinion of all time. Especially definitely one. Shevchenko again. He's in that weird era where people kind of forgot about him a little bit, but
And they shouldn't.
no, the
No,
guy.
because they think about his Chelsea days.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But I do feel like he's I do feel like this side is. I think if you put a man for man against Premier League side, I think in terms of name basis, I think it's probably no, not probably, definitely stronger. I'm gonna stand on business there. I think it's
Against a
stronger.
full Prem 11 though, like a full Prem Prime 11.
Yeah.
No, I'll be so real. If I slap Yaya Toure in there, no disrespect to any of them, man, but none of them man are dealing with Yaya Toure in his prime.
Well, who's dealing with Hula in this prime? Who's dealing with?
Yeah, bro, they're going bad for bad, bro.
Nah,
No,
but who's
but
dealing
we-
with
we got-
I would even
PR7?
think- I would even think of a Prem 11 and
That
think
won't be
defend-
fair though. You got to do team for
defenders-wise,
team.
The only Baresi, because I didn't see him play, I don't think any Prem defender can get into an all-time Milan 11 that you've named defensively. I think only Rio Ferdinand can give a contest for that.
Oh, there's a man that's named Virgil that will have something to say.
For me, maybe when I was growing up, Nesta was my favorite defender in it. So maybe that's where my slight bias might come in. But I
I
just
think
always used to say,
I think up top with Henri and people like that, yeah, you would
no,
have.
it's gonna be a hell of a game.
I
But
feel like it's going to be difficult.
Henry, Rooney,
it's good. Some people don't even put.
CR7.
Some people
Mm.
don't even put Rooney in their all-time Prem 11s.
Yeah, but them man don't watch ball properly.
Nah,
They just don't like Man United. And
Rooney,
I'm an Arsenal fan, but I know Rooney was the
Rooney,
man. And
And
he's
the small weeds.
No, but like,
yeah,
if you
Rooney,
did a front
Rooney was
three,
a
if you did
problem.
a front three in the Prem, you could just, off the top of my head, you could do Hazard, Henry, and Ronaldo.
No, but you wouldn't do Hazard.
Really,
You wouldn't do. I would
honestly,
do him, but you wouldn't do Hazard because then they say Salah's better than him.
I think for me, Hazard's on the borderline of making. If I had to make a friend, like he's there. He's definitely on the bench for me because I feel like when I talk about special players, yeah, you might have took a season off, but I'm talking like pure ability. The guy was a problem.
Oh, he's one of the
But
best.
no,
Prem players.
I'm not. I'm being genuinely serious now. I do think the Premier 11 though is. I think it should be given more respect. Even though I do think the Serie A 11, all 11, would be better, I do think it needs some serious respect. Because
No, do you know what? I agree with you on Serie A 11. Serie A 11, if you're going to do it, it's probably beaten because Serie A back in the 90s, and I feel like football, for me personally, it's not got worse, it's just become more robotic. So you felt like the players back then were really doing something.
100%.
Do you get what I mean? So
yeah, R9 and just
you're not getting no better than that. Like,
no.
that's
Baggio and but bro, I was watching.
That's a scooter. Hey,
yeah,
when he used to
uh,
bang it, hey,
like
hey.
there was some crazy guys, and again, I do think like we've fallen from that in terms of the star power.
yeah.
Star power, we've definitely we can't attract the same guys that you can attract. We can't, that's the one thing. That's the thing I'm saddest about. The football when I watch it is great, but you want a man that can just do something and bam, the game changes. Like a Henri flicking the ball over a man's head and
Slapping
launch
it.
library. It's like you want people to be able to do that, and there aren't enough innovators in football anyway, and all of them are now in the Premier League anyway. All the top guys or that Rome, Madrid or Barca. We can't really compete with that.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Fair. Well, hell of a team. Thank you on that Milan team and Serie A football. We're gonna switch sports into the NFL, your Green Bay Packers.
I know.
You feel obviously we're NFL heavy on this podcast in
Yeah.
general, but it's very early because this season just finished. Super Bowl was
Yeah.
literally a few weeks ago. But what is your optimism for the Green Bay Packers going into the 2026 year? Obviously we've not had the draft yet, so it's hard on that sense. But
honestly, that last season, it killed me. It really killed me because there was a point in the season where we were up, I think it was at 26-9 at Denver. It was like 26-14 at Denver, third quarter.
It was slightly closer, but you were up.
Yeah, we were up. I was thinking, right, we're beating a team that is probably going to win the AFC. We're handling them. We're not just beating them. We're doing, we're doing a lot better than I thought we would. And then two plays happen. One, Michael Parsons goes down, and then Christian Watson gets hurt on the very next play. Oh well, gets hurt, and then the what's his name? The corner for Denver intercepts it. I forgot his name.
That's Satan?
Yeah, Satan intercepts it. Which that to me effectively ended our season there. At that point, if you'd asked me, are we going to make a deep playoff run? Would we make the Super Bowl? I would have said, yeah. So I feel like we have the talent. I think Jordan Love's put together another solid quarterback play season. We don't need him to be Aaron Rodgers. We just need him to be solid. And I think that's what he's done. He doesn't turn the ball over at a high rate. He can make the one or two plays to win you a game in terms of the deep stuff. He had actually a really good performance in the playoffs against the Bears. We didn't pull through in the end. So there's a lot to be optimistic about, but it's the same old story. We're becoming a bit cowboyish in our playoff losses. It's very, we could have had it, but we didn't make that play. We didn't do that. I mean, the 2 losses that we had to the Bears this season are some of the worst losses, and I'm talking about so bad so that like we've outdone the Seahawks 2014 and the loss where we were up 19-6 with like 4 minutes to go or something like that. We've outdone that twice in one season. So it's becoming a bit tough to swallow every year, getting to the playoffs and just having heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss. But I do feel like the team's in a good place. I'm a bit worried about LaFleur. I feel like he's very good on script. So the first 15 plays of a game or so can be quite good. But I do feel like as we get to crunch time, the fourth quarters, it can be a bit. It gets a bit messy. But we never really had that issue with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers had that kind of great quarterback, sense to a game where, if we kept it close, he can do 1 or 2 things to keep it, to get us over the line. But I don't feel like since he's gone, we've not had that as much. The defense has improved leaps and bounds from where it was, this time, like a year ago or 2. We've got some young studs on defense, but yeah, I feel like we're the nearly men. We're the Arsenal. Sorry. We just get beat. Somehow, some way, we find a way to lose the game, and that's what we do.
To be fair, in terms of this season, the injury bug
Yeah,
actually
it was.
affected you lot because
I mean,
is it Tucker Craft? He was the
Tucker
best.
Craft
He
won.
was the best tight end in football at that particular time, or the season
Yeah.
he was having. Michael Parsons, again,
Gone.
one of the best defenders in football, and he basically changed your front line because
Yeah.
the other front line, the D line, were just eating.
Yeah. I mean,
and
we
then, like
missed
you said, Griffin Watson.
I
from
forgot
the
his name. The interior defensive lineman went down as well. Who was making the case to be the second best defensive player on the team. I forgot his name now. There's so many guys on the NFL team. 53 men. I never remember all of them. But
I think I know who you're talking about because his name flashed a lot because of Michael Parsons.
Exactly.
He'd get enough
Yeah,
sacks.
you eat when he's on the pitch. So yeah, I feel like we are in our Super Bowl window. This is the time. If we're gonna put a run together, it has to be within the next 2 to 3 years. Because again, you know how in the NFL works. We've been the youngest team, the youngest squad in the league
The
for
last
a
few
long
years,
time,
you guys have.
but we've not got there yet. Now the team's still young, so next year, another year of development, we might be there, but it feels like we're not there yet.
I mean, your division's quite hard as well. Well,
Yeah.
it seems to maintain its level of hardness or just gets harder.
Yeah. It's not being the Lions did take a big step back, but they're still with that coach over there, who I actually think really highly of. I do think he can be a bit corny, can go for it too much on fourth down, but I do feel like they've got a real squad over there. Again, injuries have hurt them too. And Minnesota have just been generally just coached well for quite a while now. And the Bears, again, talking about making improvement, talking about, going from near enough, from nowhere to not being too far away from being in the championship game. Yeah, I feel like we are in a division which makes it very, very difficult to make the playoffs every year. So yeah, it's a tough division, and I feel like the NFC, and I don't know how you guys see it. I've always felt like the AFC, since obviously the Mahomes coming in, it's been more of a quarterbacks side of the draw. It's definitely quarterback driven. You got your Josh Allens, you got your Burrows, you got your Mahomes, your Lamars, but I feel like, and maybe the Super Bowl was a good example of that. NFC has probably the more rounded teams in terms of, if I think of the Eagles, again, for me, the Eagles are probably still the most talented team in football. In terms of just going man to man. The Lions were in that conversation for quite a while. The Rams, there's just a lot of well-rounded teams in the NFC, which means that it makes the playoff so difficult to navigate for us. But yeah, I do feel like we're in that bubble of the teams that I just mentioned. Just whether we can mount a challenge next season. Feels so long away, doesn't it? Though feels so long away.
It does. It really does.
It's funny you said that though, because we said the same thing all season. We said the NFC was the teams. It was all about the teams, whereas the AFC has been a quarterback-driven conference for however long. And we felt that as you said, we felt like watching the Super Bowl. We're like, this is why sometimes you need a super duper elite quarterback to go up against this sort of well-rounded team if you really want a game. Because when you have a Drake May, a second-year quarterback who was playing like MVP this year, but doesn't have the, let's say, experience and is going with a whole new team and a whole new skill set there, it doesn't match up well. Whereas if you had a Mahomes, a Josh Allen, maybe a Burrow in that game specifically.
Hey, just say Mahomes or Burrow. That Allen guy hasn't made a Super Bowl.
Okay.
Slow down, buddy. Slow down.
If you had a Mahomes, a Burrow in that game specifically, you'd see the difference, because you saw the difference that Matt Stafford made against the Seahawks, having the elite quarterback against them. We knew the Super Bowl was the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Whoever was making it from that game was winning the Super Bowl. So that's how we felt. And I understand your point on the Eagles. There's just so much dysfunction going on. Obviously, AJ.
Nick Sirianni is just, he's lost your dressing room, basically.
But he's still going to be the head coach. So it's going to be a case of just players having to move.
Well, they've had this pattern of having one good year, one not so good year, one good one. So I don't know. Again, Jalen Hurts has a lot of detractors. I'm not one of them personally. I feel like he knows his limitations and plays to his strengths. But yeah, I feel like the NFC next year is just going to be another bloodbath. So I don't see. Obviously, you're going to have some changes in terms of who actually comes out of the NFC, and who makes playoffs. But out of that kind of 6-7 teams, it's just. It's tough. It's like becoming the West of the NBA. What it used to. It's just, the West playoffs just seem, again. So the AFC has still got the quarterbacks, but as you can kind of see, they're kind of limited in terms of can only do so much.
Yeah.
Again, you see with Allen again, another really tough.
This guy's just rage baiting.
Really tough losses.
No, but like this, not to make it a Josh Allen conversation, it was his best opportunity with
it has been, it was
superstar quarterback not in the picture. And do you know what? That's why I slightly wanted the Bills. I don't like the Bills, but I slightly wanted them in the Super Bowl because, like Jacob said, against the NFC, it's shown since Mahomes has come into the league, it has to be a superstar quarterback that faces the NFC teams, because the teams are just more well-rounded.
I mean, he's Mahomes won 2 Super Bowls against Niner. Like the Niners, in my opinion, especially that kind of early 2000s, 2020s, were probably, like, in terms of a team, the most talented roster.
Best team.
If you go that offensive line,
offense, defense, it was crazy.
What team was this? Sorry,
the Niners.
The Niners. It does take again. It's very similar. If you go back this Super Bowl, if you actually go back 12 years to 2014, Brady versus the Legion of Boom, it's the exact same. You need to have a quarterback that will find a way. Brady was down 10 in that Super Bowl. The fourth quarter, he threw for nearly more than 250 yards in the quarter. That's what you would need. And no offense, Drake May, he might get there in the future, but it will take a Mahomes. I'm gonna say Allen because I personally think Allen is, in terms of potential, in terms of makeup, he is a preeminent quarterback for sure. It'll take a Burrow type kind of performance to win that Super Bowl, and that's what the Patriots were missing. But yeah, the NFC is going to be a bloodbath again.
I agree.
Mm.
I agree. You forgot the main man Lamar Jackson's name in that, but I won't have that discussion.
I trust Lamar. I really, 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 really don't trust the Ravens. And I don't. I think it's, again, if you actually look at it in terms of the Ravens, they've had a very, very successful start. They're a new team. They've won 2 Super Bowls, but over the last 6 or 7 years, again, kind of like the Packers, it's very cowboyish. It's very, if you go back to the Titans' loss in the playoffs at home, go back to the Chiefs' loss. By the way, must I say, that was one of the most hyped up AFC Championship games of all time. By the way, that was me. Ravens Chiefs. I actually they've got that on YouTube, so you can watch the whole game, and I've done it. Because for me personally, that's one of my favorite NFC championships. Because again, it was a hyped up Baltimore's first one at home. But again, when rubber needs to meet the road, they can't just do it. And it's really
Rafa, Ded's a Bills fan. Ask Dej when you're facing the other guy when you're facing 15, get me, in a big game.
I told you it was rage baiting. So one must not fall for these tactics.
15 on Lamar though. Don't get me wrong, I do trust him, but playoffs he does have to prove a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. But again, I feel
but
like
again, it is also the Ravens and head coach in certain games as well.
That's normal. Peyton Manning took how long to come through?
Yeah,
he got drafted in 1999, I want to say. Didn't win a Super Bowl till 2006. That is not too far away. I think Lamar's just a little bit over that timeline. But
Lamar and Josh, they're entering year 9, if I'm not mistaken.
So it can happen.
It can, but it's getting harder because
it's getting harder.
The other, me, Jacob, and Dejum spoke about, like, the other AFC teams, even though they've not got superstar quarterbacks, they've got more rounded teams.
Yeah.
They're becoming a bit more like the NFC teams.
But the problem with the Chiefs,
there's no problem with my team. Don't worry.
I don't. Again, the Chargers are a letdown. They're the Tottenham of the NFL. That's what they are.
That's a good shot.
I actually like that.
It's true, because for me personally, I think the Chargers do have, I won't say an abundance of talent, but they have talent, and they've got a coach that's been there, not won it, but been there and almost won it with the Niners. But the Broncos are going to be a problem to deal with for the foreseeable.
I know. Our division's going to be crazy annoying the next couple of years. People anticipated it to be crazy annoying the last couple of years, and the Chiefs shut that down. But other teams finally finished above them, and it's just now time for the Chiefs to be the hunters instead of the hunted. So it's going to be interesting.
I don't doubt Mahomes.
You better not.
There's as Skip Bayless used to say, there's a couple of people that you don't bet against. But yeah, I don't. I'm worried if you're part of a Arrowhead Nation. Yeah, I don't know if I like what I see, especially over the last season.
Brother Rafa, it's just time to reinvent ourselves. That's all.
I wouldn't really worry about the Chiefs either, because it just takes a few decent moves and they're back.
But it takes a few not decent moves
But Mahomes is good enough to paper over those cracks, though.
But he didn't paper over them last year, though.
No,
that wasn't a crack last year. That was an earthquake.
Yeah. But as someone that is not really a Mahomes fan, you're allowed to have one.
Fan. You're just not.
I like him, but fuck the Chiefs at the same time. But you could afford to have that because you've already won 3. Like sometimes chill.
I don't think the alarm bells are ringing. That's what I'm saying. I just feel I feel like what's happening is again, I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's a kind of Chiefs kind of Man City link where initially, you know, like 2022, 23 City or like early City were high flying, attacking, you know, get the job done, score 3 or 4 goals, and then teams kind of clued up to that, and Man City had to change. They became a bit more pragmatic, played 4 centre backs at the back for a while, and the Chiefs had to go through a similar kind of change. They were the high flying, high octane Tyreek Hill 99-yard touchdown to we're gonna methodically get our way down the field. We're not gonna score your plus 30. But what we're going to do is we're going to get to 26, but you're not getting above 19. But the problem...
Hey, that was only the year after Tyreek left, we still led the league in offense.
That's true. That's true.
So
but
we reinvented, and then we won 2 trips after Tyreek left in different ways.
True, but you're still... I don't have any problem with the way you won your last chip. I kind of like that. I like that you got a defense that travels. You can go anywhere and lock down your opponent. You did that in the AFC Championship game against Ravens. But again, there's a very... it's very, very telling to watch both of the 2 dominant forces in the sport having to evolve in almost the same kind of way in terms of teams will look at you and say, we're not going to allow you to do that anymore.
No, facts. That's why I said is for the Chiefs this offseason to obviously roster reconstruction and a bit of reinvention as well.
Yeah.
And they've kind of done that with the appointments of their coaching staff. They have brought back a lot of former coaches and stuff like that. But it's the last couple years is everyone just ride on Mahomes' coattails, even though he wasn't playing at his best.
Yeah.
When it came to the clutch or playoffs, he was. And it was more of a momentum thing of they were going for history at the end of the day. And they were just 1 game short of it.
And a bit of it maybe fatigue. Winning is difficult.
Bro, if you accumulate the amount of games they played in the postseason, that's an extra season. Do you know what I mean? Over that span. So,
and it's the NFL. It's not like it's football. It's the NFL. You're going to
it's crazy still.
But no, I feel like if you... Obviously, I know we just had the Super Bowl done. We not had a draft, but it wouldn't surprise me to see, again, if the Chiefs do come back, I wouldn't be surprised to see them if not winning the AFC, being very, very close. There are a few teams that look like they're a couple of pieces away from being serious teams. So I thought the NFL was in a good landscape. And one thing I like about the NFL, unlike other sports, it's okay, the Chiefs did win 2 or 3 Super Bowls, whatever, but it's really hard to tell who's going to be good and who's not going to be good. Really, really hard. And that's one of the best things about the NFL. You don't know what's going to happen. And repeating in the NFL, or especially in the NFL, is so difficult. Like, I don't think the Seahawks will win the Super Bowl next year. Primarily because they won the Super Bowl this year. That is one of my reasons. It's so hard to do. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Any more NFL talk, lads, before we move on?
I'm all NFL'd out. I spoke about NFL every single week this year.
Damn right. Nah, no cap for that one.
But we're recovering.
Depending on what happens in the draft, and then once the off season actually kicks off and the schedule comes up, when we've got time, Rafa, we will also bring you on pre-NFL season and the next season on that one. We're going to wrap up with our song of the week. So that is just like, it could be your song of the week or your song in the moment, but who wants to kick off? If you've got it in your head now, Rafa, you can look at your phone.
Yeah, I'm a big J. Cole fan, so J. Cole dropping at the start of this month. his album for me is one of the weirdest albums ever because I'll listen to one song the next day, one day, and think, "Oh, I don't know if I'm feeling that." Then I would listen to it 2 days later. I'm like, "Whoa, that is cold." So, at the moment, there's like 4 or 5 songs on there that I'm like, "Yo, that's it." But there's a couple ones on the anterior which I've been listening to. One of them is the Letdown or the Let Out and Safety.
Safety.
Safety's a really, really the tune. Well, what tune that I'm bumping at the moment? Will be tune I'm listening on the way home. So, yeah, that's going to be my my choice.
You know what? I'm so happy you said that because as a real lover of J. Cole as well, pause. I literally had the same feeling listening to the album. It was literally like the first time I listened through the whole thing, I didn't like a song.
Yeah,
I didn't like a single song. And I said, am I just listening to this in the wrong moment? The
yeah,
next day I played the album, driving in the car, and I was like, hold on, wait, what? This song I didn't like yesterday, I love today.
yeah,
And then it was like there was certain tracks like the Village that got me.
yeah,
The Village, just the beat on that and the way J. Cole, I feel like that's true J. Cole to me, the Village,
yeah.
that song specifically. Then Man Up Above. Safety was the one where I was like, okay, I felt like a lot of people were bumping it before like they listened to anything else, and that was the one they were putting on socials. So I was like, that's the track, but let me listen to it at my own time. And there was a few others I was like, okay, cool. Like even the one where he's using I can't remember the name of it, but he's using Commons, I Used to Love Her. That one when he's talking about rap music. So I had the same feeling with that. But my song of the week is not J. Cole this week. I know it has been
Thank
worse.
God.
I know it has been.
It's been the last couple weeks, mate.
Yeah. But it's Brent Faiyaz, Wrong Faces of his new project, Icon.
Okay.
Okay, let me go next. My one is from. I have two, but I'll just go with this one. Yeah, I might have had this before. Party Next Door, Real Woman.
Oh yes, of a P3.
Yeah, with the.
Yeah. You don't have to talk about that, but yes.
Talk about it.
No, bro, like
he's a married man and I'm in a relationship.
Cover.
Of that album cover.
Yeah.
Fair.
There was no need.
Yeah.
I hear it. Mine is Lee Bryce, Rumor, country music.
Okay.
Something different.
What's
Something
funny then? Can't a man listen to country?
No, listen to all the country you want, mate. It's all good, man.
But now,
Yeah,
Rafa,
man.
you know how you're a J. Cole fan? I wanted to actually I'm saying this on the podcast, I don't mind, but we wanted to actually have a conversation about the J. Cole album. Me and Dej were speaking about it earlier in the week. So if you're free to do that, we'll actually sit down
100%.
Yeah.
I've got some thoughts on it. A lot of it positive, especially now listening to it for a few times. It's been out. Came out exactly 4 weeks today or 3 weeks today. So got a lot of thoughts on it. And again, it's not been shouted out enough. I think it's a really solid project now. Listening to it, especially both discs, and I think the way it's been marketed by him as well is really, really cool. He's driving around in a Honda Accord or a Civic. Putting the CD in, and I think that epitomizes the album. It's I think it's him going back to his kind of
roots.
In a way, but also taking a new spin on things.
100%.
I mean, you saying it's not been, what was it? I think you said not promoted, pitted.
Yeah, I've not seen it get the hype that it.
Rafa, people were promoting it before they'd even listened to the tracks.
True.
A man in the corner of my screen.
Hey,
with the Bible in the background. He said, Dej, innit? He said, this album's the best, and I've not even heard it yet.
I remember those words still.
And I was like, brother.
I'll be real. I'm a real J. Cole fan. Every concert he comes to in the UK, I'm there. Like I've been a J. Cole fan.
Has he got a tour coming up? Or?
Yeah, I'll be there. I've been with J. Cole from like Friday Night Lights and before, you know. Like I've been here. So I'm mixtape J. Cole. So I'm really been it.
Yeah, and again, he's saying it's his last project for a while, or for the foreseeable. So
All these projects are wow, man. Let's be honest.
No, he goes
I
every other
mean,
year usually,
yeah,
yeah, I
but
feel like
he's saying
recently
he's
he brought out a lot
Recently,
of
when you done Might Delete Later,
which is a very underrated project.
yeah.
underrated. That's very rated.
Not underrated. I don't think it was pushed as much as anything else. I feel like because
Yeah,
obviously the
Crocodile
Kendrick,
Tears is what.
the Kendrick Drake stuff happened at the same time, so it was like,
Yeah, right after it, innit? Yeah,
maybe,
right.
maybe it was brightly rated.
Slightly
You,
underrated.
you're not gonna make me a J. Cole hater.
no, Joe, that's got your favorite J. Cole song on it.
I know it has, but I'm tired of him.
He's
I
J.
don't
Cole
even
fatigue.
dislike him.
J. Cole fatigue.
J. Cole
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, brother Rafa, thank you very much for joining us, my
Thank you
boy.
for having me, man. Thank you for having me.
Definitely get you on again. Get me. This is my F1. This is my F1 doctor, bro. This guy. And when Rafa speaks in the F1 chat, I actually read properly. You get me? I read what everyone else is saying for those that are gonna view it and watch it. But
Yeah.
when Rafa comes with, it's as if he's ready to put glasses on top of his glasses when he's coming to speak some facts. And I'm like, shit, you might make me like Alonso, but nah. Yeah, but again, thank you again, my boy, for joining us. Get me, much appreciated. And hopefully there's more to come in the future. You can join us again, as Dej likes to say.
You tell a friend to tell a friend.
And Jacob,
Like and subscribe.
what they said, hit those buttons, get in the comments, and we could take it, we could give it. Rafa, any final words for the viewers and listeners?
Just watch Serie A. Watch as well now. Just watch it.
Hey, I'm repping the Milan. Get me? So, Joe, I'm signing out.
Dej signing out.
Jacob signing out.
Rafa signing out.
Yay.
Thank you for listening, peeps.